So today we're going to analyze why Mike Torino is the biggest MVP of GTA San Andreas' story. You guys seem to really enjoy the video about Lester, so we're doing another one. So Mike Torino first met CJ when CJ was working for Jizzy back in San Fierro, and initially we didn't know a damn thing about this guy. Like, he seemed like the one calling the shots, like the leader and whatnot, but we really didn't know anything about him, let alone the fact that he's a Fed, which CJ discovers after he thought he killed him. But yeah, later down the line, CJ gets a phone call from Torino to come to a ranch near San Fierro, and there we find Torino, who explains to CJ that he works for a government agency and that the point of him leading the local syndicate and dealing drugs was to raise money for his, let's just say, more than suspicious operations. Then he starts dropping information about Sweet to CJ. Of course, CJ gets interested, and Torino eventually promises that he would sort of keep Sweet safe in prison and eventually free him if CJ starts working for him. And this guy is no joke. He knows what prison Sweet's in, he knows everything about him, like what cell he's in, what cell block he's in, he even knows who's next to him. But Torino didn't just go like,
yeah, here you go, your brother's free.
Nah. Instead, he of course promised CJ to do that after CJ does many borderline suicidal missions and tasks that involve him stealing another agency's truck, shooting his rivals' helicopters down, and then he has CJ buy an airfield in the middle of nowhere and learn how to be a pilot. CJ then does a bunch of even more borderline suicidal missions, which in all honesty make the former ones look like a nice evening stroll down to your dad's car to bring him a pack of smokes. First, CJ delivers a package via plane out in the desert, and then CJ has to kill a bunch of government agents, board their plane, plant a bomb, and then jump from that plane. Now, over the course of all these dangerous stunts, Torino starts to trust CJ more, while of course using Sweet as a matter of keeping CJ working for him. Also, real quick, I want to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a like on this video if you're enjoying it right now. Also, feel free to go down to the description or the pinned comment below this video, check out my second channel where the Kingdom Hearts content is nowadays. And then moving on to the last and most insane thing that CJ ever did for Torino is Torino has him steal a fighter jet from a giant boat, which CJ then takes and he has to use it to shoot down some boats. CJ is at this point furious at Torino for making him do this. Torino disconnects from the line or on their communication device or whatever when CJ asks him what to do with the fighter jet he just stole. And the last time we see Torino is in the mission Homecoming when he shows up at Mad Dog's mansion where CJ and the gang currently have their base of operations set up and says that he has one last job for CJ. He then is fed up with Torino's shit. He pulls a gun on Torino, he points it at his face, but Torino is unfazed and he just tells CJ to go pick up Sweet from prison. So to sum up, unlike a lot of people in GTA games, like let's say Tenpenny or Pulaski and San Andreas are the best examples, Torino is not a complete piece of shit to our protagonist. I mean, sure, he gets CJ to do crazy shit, but at least he keeps his word and makes it all worth it in the end. CJ has accomplished a lot of things throughout the game. Would it be all worth it really if Sweet was still in prison? I don't know, because ever since CJ was dumped in Age Old Pine by Tenpenny and Pulaski, he was doing his best and whatever he could do with the ultimate goal of getting Sweet out of prison. And if he never crossed paths with Mike Torino while working for Jizzy, I honestly doubt that he would have ever gotten Sweet out. So while one could say that Torino was an asshole and that he put CJ in a lot of danger, in the end he was at least a man of his word, and that's not a trait we often see in GTA, especially not with characters that our protagonists work for, and that's something that has to be respected. With that said, I want to thank you for watching this GTA San Andreas lore video. Until next video stream, bye bye.